Lawyer Up. Lisa Lanier, our official attorney, joins us every week to get inside several legal cases. Lisa, it's always great to hear from you. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I hope you guys are.
Wonderful. Thank you. We just talked about one that's actually not on your docket. The state of Michigan is trying to make it where employers are not allowed to text or email employees while they're off the clock. And if they do it to the point where the employer or the employee gets in trouble, they can be slapped with a $500 fine. Do you see that happening? Do you think that's a big problem across the country, that employers badger employees while they're off the clock at home?
You know, I employ a lot of people, and I would not like this because I work much longer hours, right, than my employees do. I'm up very, very early, and I work way past when they've gone home. And I'm not expecting them to respond in that moment. But it's, you know, especially where I provide a lot of my employees with a company cell phone. And so if I'm going to email or text to that phone, then, you know, to me, I don't care if they shut it off when they go home, but I want them to see it first thing the next morning. You know,
Preach it, sister.
Be able to
Preach
communicate about it while I'm thinking about it.
Yes.
So I think that's the employer's point of view. And I cannot imagine that with the, you know, kind of the labor versus the employer weight that, you know, typically you see thrown around in the legislature, I can't imagine that this would pass, but maybe so.
I agree.
Michigan does has a history of being a little more pro-labor than most states.
Okay, right. Well, I'm always texting Biggie at home, and my wife will say to me, he's on his off hours. And I said, well, if I wait to get him on the on hours, that ain't happening. We're going to have to get him, you know. That way I know some employers may badger employees at night and expect them to respond. Personally, I don't. But I do think it would be bad to have a prohibition where you can't. I want to be able to say what's on my mind when it's on my mind, right? And then you respond tomorrow during business hours. I think that's a much more equitable solution. Yes. Amen, sister. I like that. We have I feel like we've covered this ground before, but there's a guy named Terry O'Shea, 38. He is in Scotland. He sounds very Scottish, Terry O'Shea. He was convicted of dangerous driving in Scotland, but he's asking the court to let his bearded dragon, Mishu, accompany him to his mandatory social worker meetings and to any jail time he might do because it's his emotional support lizard. Lisa, I think you've told us in the past, dogs, yes, lizards, no. Is that the case in the United States and or Scotland? What do you think about this guy?
It is, yeah. Typically, now the judge has taken it, so he made, this dude with the bearded dragon, he made a motion to the court to be allowed to bring, and all his community service is weird. It's really just these meetings with a social worker. I mean, there doesn't seem to be any actual, like, going out and picking up trash or anything like that. But I think he's thinking that the social worker is going to give him some pushback about bringing a lizard into his or her office. And so he wanted to go ahead and get it clarified with the judge. And so the judge is taking it under advisement. We don't have a ruling yet. The judge is looking at some psychiatric reports that are pending to see if this guy really is going to have a come apart if he doesn't have the lizard. So that's kind of what it's going to come down to.
Well, I hope he doesn't have a come apart with no lizard.
And these are larger lizards. We're not talking about like a gecko here. They're big.
That's a bearded dragon.
They're not huge in general. We used to have one. My son had one that lived to be about 12 years old, and it got to be about tail and all, maybe 1.5 feet, 2 feet long, but a lot of it was tail.
Yes. How did you find that as a pet? Was it easy to take care of?
You know, that you have to keep all these little insects and things alive for it. We had to raise mealyworms and have live insects. Kind of a pain.
I bet.
But he was a surprisingly cool pet.
Yeah.
And but they have, like, this guy from Scotland. There's all kinds of funny pictures of this guy kissing it like it's a dog or something. And that is so disgusting because they actually carry all kinds of bacteria. And he's also seen driving around in his convertible. I posted a picture of this with his lizard, and he has these googly eye headrest covers, and he's in a convertible. It's just the silliest. This guy is he's something.
He needs that lizard, obviously, for the emotional support. There's another case today that's making news in the United States. Rochester, a guy named Dave Strever is suing ICE, the government agency, after federal officers showed up at his home and warned his wife about a harshly worded email he had sent to the acting director of ICE, Todd Lyons. And they're saying this is violating his rights because they're going through different channels to try to find his address. They showed up at his home. His lawyer is saying this is not right.
I think everyone would recognize that if police showed up and arrested David for this email, that would be a very clear violation of the First Amendment. But the First Amendment also protects against forms of retaliation other than arrest. So if you have agents showing up to your house, confronting your wife, calling your cell phone repeatedly, tracking you down to a hotel you didn't tell them about, and then they give you a notice that says that your speech might be a criminal act, that is sure enough to make someone shut up.
So it's him against the government. Lisa, does he have a chance here? It does seem like overreach to me. What do you think?
Yeah, it does. And I always have to, whenever there's any politically charged question, I have to give the disclaimer. I'm going to tell you where the law comes down. This is not my politics. Because sure enough, every time I interpret some, legal thing that has some aspect to political, I get emails.
Oh, yeah.
Lisa, I love you, but you're a libtard,
Well. Yeah, okay, right.
So
all right.
Let me tell you. So I'm coming right squarely down on where the law comes down on this. This guy is a pastor. He's a minister. And he wrote to Todd Lyons, the acting director of ICE at the time, after the Renee Good shooting. He said, "You are a monstrous human being who will never know peace. You will seek to lose yourself, escape the burden of knowing about who you are." I mean, he just went on with this very kind of, but nowhere did he threaten the guy, right?
Oh, right.
And so his lawyer is right. It's a clear First Amendment protection, and it was clear intimidation. I mean, they not only did they show up, to his house. His wife looks out on the Ring camera and there's ice everywhere. Yeah. But they called him a million times. They tracked him to Finland. They showed up at a hotel where he was staying in New York. And they really, I think tried to intimidate him. So I think he's got some grounds there for his cause of action. Nothing to do with politics. Just, it's the First Amendment. You can criticize the government. You can tell them that they're terrible. You're allowed to do that.
Typical libtard response.
Exactly.
There we go. Of course. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. Obviously. Yeah, of course. You're going to say that.
That dang First Amendment.
Oh, God.
It's pesky. That pesky First Amendment.
They're always citing it. Oh, First Amendment. Blah, gross.
I mean, who even knows what that means?
Really? The first one? It's the very first one. They're just practicing. We have a family suing a barbecue restaurant in Austin, Texas. The guy's name is Kirk Foyle, 64, unfortunately died. He's suing his family as Green Mesquite Barbecue and some other property owners because a diseased pecan tree fell on him during a storm while he was eating out on the patio, and it killed him. And they said, the family is saying, they know that this restaurant knew that the tree was diseased and could fall, especially during a storm. The tree was known as the Widowmaker and did fall on this guy. I feel like they're going to win this. Lisa, am I right?
Yeah, you're right. They're going to win this. And the interesting thing is he has a case against two businesses, not just the barbecue place where he was eating, but the tree actually originated. It was growing on the lot next door, which is called the Aspen Hatter. And those people knew that they were in some deep doo because they immediately, a week after he died, they went out and mortgaged the property to the max, took out almost $1 million loan against it, in an effort to keep it judgment proof. Because if you sue somebody, you try to execute a judgment on their property. If there's a big loan on the property, then you can't execute the judgment because the bank is the first taker. So they try to drain the value out of the property. And so they're in some big trouble. I think he'll have some additional footing in the lawsuit because of that action. But yeah, they called this tree the Widowmaker. I mean, God, because it's so dead. It was a pecan tree, and what it did was it kind of leaned over and kind of, its limbs came over onto the barbecue restaurant property. So he's actually going after both of them.
Well, if I'm the barbecue restaurant, can I say, hey, it wasn't our tree? Can I, as the neighboring property street, they should be in trouble, not us?
I think that the Aspen Hatter has the bigger problem, but the barbecue restaurant does have a duty. So if there's something unsafe, they should have taken some action to have at least have it trimmed back from off their property.
Is that the case? Like if in my yard, if I've got a neighbor's tree that's dying, but there are limbs that just come over onto my property and somebody's out there, playing in the yard or something and a limb falls on them and hurts them, am I somewhat responsible for that?
Yeah, I'm sure, you kill somebody on your property with a limb, even if it originates like this, they're going to go after you and the neighbor. And here in this case, in Austin, they have I think, a really big problem with the jury because this guy was crazy popular. He was a super nice guy, and people called him the mayor. Everybody that saw him come, hey, there comes the mayor. I mean, this is like you could not have picked a worse person to kill if you were.
God, that's terrible. So people at the restaurant were like, hey, the mayor's eating under the Widowmaker. We better watch out.
Right,
God,
exactly.
The nicknames that come here. Some really rough stories here today. There's another. This is more frivolous. I wouldn't call it frivolous, but United Airlines is going to face charges now. A federal judge is ruling they're not dismissing a lawsuit claiming that the airline would charge extra money for window seats, which I didn't even know airlines did, but they charge you extra for window seats. They're BB Shea and
absolutely.
Rachel and
I think you pay more to pick your seat in general.
So people were picking window seats, and then when they got there, instead of having a window, they just have like the panel of the plane. There was no window. And so United said, yeah, but come on.
You're on a plane.
I guess that didn't fly, so they might have to face some charges in this. Is that the way it's working, Lisa?
Yeah, so United is fighting this, and they filed a motion to dismiss, and their big argument to the judge is that when they say that they are selling a window seat, it doesn't really literally mean a seat by a window. Instead, it means a seat away from the aisle. And the judge called BS on that and said, no, window seat means window seat. And people are paying extra for it. And it actually says in the purchase agreement, which forms the contract, that you are selling them a window seat. And so if there is no window, then United has a problem. So it does look like this is it's going the way of the class. It's a class action lawsuit. They still have to be certified, so they have to have enough participants and they have to have a similar injury. So there's a few technical issues still to work out. But I imagine United, now that they kind of see the writing on the wall of how the judge sees the case, I think they'll settle.
They'll settle with these folks who bought window seats. I don't know. Come on. We all know what that means. It's like right inside. But I guess if you want a window seat, you want to look down at the buildings and the clouds.
I'm not a window seat person, so I don't understand caring that much about this.
I'd go aisle.
I want to be in the aisle.
I do too.
I'm all window.
Oh, you are?
100%.
What if there was no window?
Oh, you're a window. You're a window person, Lisa. And if you bought a window seat and then were sitting next to a panel, would you be upset?
No, I don't think I would be. I mean, because it's not that big a deal. I mean, I care more about kind of having sort of almost like the privacy in this. If I do want to nod off, I can kind of lean into the window. You know, that kind of.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I've had my head knocked against the panel a few times.
Yeah.
I like that, but I stick my legs out into the aisle because I'm so tall. Boy, the flight attendants love that, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They encourage it.
You're out there.
Run you over, right?
That's exactly. Yeah, the cart comes down the aisle. That's exactly right. Wow, what a tour de force. Lisa Libtard Lanier is on.
Believe me, I'm going to catch. I just told you the First Amendment. They said it like it is, and I'm going to get, why do you have to be such a libtard?
Price you pay. There she is.